Okay, welcome back. Now we're going into the mission dashboard. Here we go. And you have these buttons up here that give you all your different lists, your pipeline, your upcoming, recurring, completed. Pending, these are jobs like what we just did with this one right here for our architecture friend that we set up in the previous video. This right here, we're going to fly this on the 26th, blah, blah, blah. You sent them an invoice, so you're waiting to hear back. This one is Fly Guys. Typically, if you're with a network, you will most likely either get the job right then and there. But Fly Guys, they actually are like, are you interested in this job? And you can hit yes, save the mission. It'll put it in pending until they come back and say, yeah, it's been awarded to you. So that's actually a good one. Anyways, so these are all we're waiting to hear back. Okay. These right here are awarded. They are awarded blah, 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 and in work. So these are yours. These are all pending missions that I'm not pending. These are awarded. You're waiting for them to, you're waiting for the day to show up to actually fly those. So think of this as a whiteboard in an office. Just a quick look, real quick glance. What are you waiting on and what are you working on? That easy. If you want to see everything that's coming up, you can look at that. Anything recurring, if you have construction missions and that kind of stuff. I use construction for this just because it makes the most sense. But it's any project that you're going back repeatedly on, you can set them up in this. And of course, all your completed missions that you have. You can also add things like mileage. If you have a manual trip, you can add mileage in just about most of these. I'll show you that whenever we get there. That's more of a business thing. But anyways, so that's really the dashboard. Now let me show. I showed you this right here. Whenever we hit save, it brought this job over here. Now let's say our architect friend comes back and says, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it, but can we do it for a cheaper amount? Oh, there we go. So you can go back into your calculator and look at this and be like, okay, do I need to change my rate? What are we doing? And they come back and say, we can do $300. Would you take that? And this is where you can go back in and do your negotiations if you want to, if that happens. Okay, this is where you can do that. You can this is your flat rate. It used to be down here at the bottom earlier, but now whenever you go back into it, here we go. It's down here again. Just depends on whatever calculator you're using. At that point, it doesn't matter. You've already gone through the mathematics on it, the calculations. But you can go down here and change this number, and it'll, you can play with it that way. If you have no changes, then just hit cancel, and you can go back to your mission dashboard, and it's still right there. Okay, so they come back and say, yep, we like your offer. We're going to go ahead and go with you, and let's do this. And so instead of yelling Leroy Jenkins, you can just hit this little trophy, and it'll move that job over here. So now you have it in work. Makes sense, right? And so now you're just waiting to fly the mission. Okay, let's say it's the 26th or 27th. You just flew that mission last night. There's these little buttons. You can hover over them and it'll tell you what they're good for. You can mark the mission as lost if, God forbid you missed. They come back and say, Fly Guys comes back and says, nope, we're going to give this to somebody else. You just click that and it'll move it to the lost folder. And it'll always tell you up here what's going on. And if you need to undo it, you can click that little button. So let's go over here to our Grand Avenue Aurora project. We flew it, and we're just going to go ahead and mark this as completed. So I go ahead and click that. It's marked as completed. And I can go over here to completed, and sure enough, 14770 East Grand Avenue was completed. Now what happened is it saved this mission card here, but I just want to explain what happened. A lot of things happens whenever you complete a mission. The first one is it logged your mileage. Okay, but if you need to go in there and adjust the mileage, you can go in here and adjust it. Say it's saying 33.8, and there was some detours you had to take, and say it came out to 39.5. Okay, and you just put detour or whatever. It's just your notes. Hit save, and it'll go in and it'll actually update the mileage, so that way it's always correct. Okay, so really the big thing whenever you complete a mission and it moves it into this field, this folder, is it locks all the data down. What I mean by that is like your rate that you're charging, it locks it down. Whatever the gas price is for that day, it locks it down. So it's not 6 months from now, say today gas is $4 a gallon, and 6 months from now, if we're still at war, it's $7 a gallon. Well, if you leave this tied to live numbers, that's going to really throw off all of your business, all your accounting and everything big time, because if you go back into the mission and you look at it, it's going to say that gas is $7 a gallon whenever you're like, hey, wait a minute, back in May, whenever I flew this thing, it was only $4 a gallon. Why is it saying that there's such a huge change? And the same thing is with your rates. If it's natural that you're going to increase your rates as time moves on, and if you still have this, if it's still the same year and you've already upped your rates, you don't want that reflective, being live and being reflected in your mission that you've already accomplished. Now that sounds like a very, you're like, duh, this all makes sense. Well, it does. Here's the thing. If you're used to using spreadsheets that uses live numbers, you will know how painful what I'm saying right now is. This is one of those lessons learned, okay? So that's why I'm making it, kind of foot stomping this point. And if you turn in your income and expense worksheets and all that stuff to your accountant for tax time, and you've been only using live numbers, they are going to just flip their lid, because none of that stuff is going to line up, and you're going to have to go back in time and figure out what the changes are, and it's a nightmare. Okay, it is the biggest nightmare. So whenever you complete a mission, it locks it down, and these are solid. You don't have to worry about any of that changing. All of your accounting is 100%. Okay, for both your mileage and your income and your expenses, all that stuff is going to just be hardwired. Okay, now let's say, God forbid, you flew this project and they come back and say, your architect friend says, hey man, those images were blurry. Is there any way you can refly it? Yeah, you can. Okay, and you're going to just take it on the chin. You're not going to charge them any more money to fly the mission, and you get refly requests from some of these networks for the silliest things, but it's part of the game. It's part of being a professional, and you're just going to have to do it. Okay, so yeah, you're going to go back and refly it, but you're not going to charge them. You're not going to charge them, but you are going to incur mileage on your vehicle. So what you do is you click this button, and let's just say blurry images. You click on that, and it'll tell you added a refly to awarded in work. It kept this here because of what I just said. It locks everything down. So what it does, it makes a copy of it, and you'll go back here into your pipeline, and it'll say refly project. And you notice there's no dollar amount here. So all it's doing is just for mileage purposes. And then whenever you go fly it, and then you hit complete it again. It'll come up, say completed. You come back, and it comes up unscheduled, but because there's no date set. But this is the refly project, and it'll actually put the mileage back in there, and it puts it in the log and all that. So that way you stay, it accounts for a refly. I don't know of any other programs that do that, actually. Okay, so I think I've gone through this mission dashboard ad nauseum. It's really designed for just a quick look. It's a really good place to manage your missions, but if you need to get into the nitty gritty, again, you go back to the workspace here, and it's the same information. You can come up here and say, let's let's do this. Let me say this one in Castle Rock. They come back and say, hey, can we fly that on the 14th instead of the 15th? And you're like, sure, we can do that. Why isn't it populating? It's supposed to populate everything. Sons of bitches. All right, hold on. These are not live. These are not live missions. This is all pre-seeded. Basically, this is not my main account. This is a demo account. So just want to make sure that, yep. Okay. We were doing, I need to change some dates. That's what I need. Because I want to show you something. Hopefully this one right here pops up correctly. I don't know why it's not letting me. Whatever. Okay, we're just update save job. I don't care about the money. I'm just trying to get 2 of these on the same day because I want to show you something. And we're going to go ahead and accept both of these. So, okay, so we have these 2 on the 18th. Yeah. Let's go into, you can do it here, or if you happen to be in Workspace and you go in here, it's going to suggest it because it's looking across your mission and saying, hey, you've got these 2 jobs, and you can read the information, but it's saying you got these 2 jobs on Monday. How about you link them together? And if you do, I mean, it's not much here. It's saying you're gonna increase your bottom line by $1.76, and you're gonna cut 2 miles off your drive and save 2 minutes of driving. Okay, sure. Yep, these are the 2. You can, change the route if you want to see where the biggest benefit is. But whatever, and you can change up how it splits it and all that. Save chain. Okay, and now you notice that there's this, it's in one card. It's not a separate card like these ones are. It's its own. And so if you need to adjust the date, you can go up here and say, yeah, let's do that on the 19th instead. So we'll go ahead and save that. Okay, it'll try to send you another calendar invite because it's been changed. And that, I believe, is that. Okay. And yeah, all right. What if, let me see. This is up in Boulder. So you have 3 on the same day. You have 1 in Golden, 1 in Denver. Boulder's not too far. Let's see if we can, if you want to go back in here and unlink jobs, you can. You have to go in and unlink all of them. Okay, but now it comes up and it says, hey, wait a second, I saw 3. So you can do that here, and this is what your projected savings is. Or you can do this from the mission dashboard. You can hit new chain. It'll give you the same thing. It says, hey, these are the 3. Yep, and again, it looks identical, save chain, boom. And it shows, because it's down here at the bottom, it shows it in its own card. Okay, and it'll show you the impact and all that. So whenever you go to business dashboard here, it actually shows you your profits of linked missions over time and how much benefit that has. Now, if you're like me, you have to drive a long ways to do these jobs, and you're not making, so instead of going from, like, for these 3 missions, you're not going from home to mission 1, back home, home to mission 2, back home, home, mission 3, back home. You're going from home, mission 1, 2, 3, back home. You've saved all that time and fuel and all that stuff making these multiple trips. It adds to your bottom line. You're not getting paid more, but your profit is going up because you're not spending as much time and fuel, etc. Okay? And after a while, especially if you have to drive far for your missions like I do, this number, it becomes huge fast. Okay, it's a little bit here, but I mean, it grows pretty quick. Okay, so that in of itself is all the mission dashboard stuff. We're going to go over the business dashboard in the next video, so stick around.